So, Lori and Boffman. Like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery Channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery Channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as an ID Go app. You might want to get those two things, combine them, make them into one. And I'm a Discovery influencer. That's indeed a fact. So, Lori Ann. The location, Liberty Township, Ohio. Lori Ann, she was last seen on August 5th, 2006 at around 6:30 p.m. What could have taken place with Lori? What could have, let me see something. Because see, she was born in 1961, right? She was born in 1961. She disappeared in 2006. That's to say that she was in her 40s, right? When older people disappear, it becomes more questionable. Like as if it were I want to leave type of thing. Do you, dear viewers, think this could have been one of those situations where a person just went for a drive and then just never returned? So, once again, August 5th, 2006 is when she disappeared. That was around 6:30, right? When she was last seen, right? She took a drive in her own vehicle, and upon leaving her home, she did not take her ID or her purse with her for the drive, right? Lori was known to take prescribed medicine for diabetes, in which she was diagnosed by doctors. Let's see, around 5:30 a.m. the following morning, after her drive, her vehicle was found in Youngstown, Ohio. It appears Lori's vehicle had been in an accident and it was abandoned. So she got into an accident and then I guess just left the vehicle, or something happened with that in between, right? No one has heard or seen from Lori since then. So questions, what could have possibly been the situation with Lori, say if she did leave on her own free will? Was her home life like not the best or up to par? What could that have been to made her leave or disappear or walk away? I don't think that a person, and you can be abducted, of course, at that age, but this is not looking like one of those situations. Either she was murdered and that was a setup, like how Vanessa again, the young Latino that got killed at the military base Fort Hood, right? Either this was one of those situations, right, back in 2006. Either this woman was either murdered and that was a setup, however the situation is with this matter and all the rest, right? Or she left on her own accord. And I'm saying that because just like with Vanessa Guillen's situation, the individual that went missing on Fort Hood's base, right, military base, they found her purse, her key, her ID, all that other belongings, her physical belongings. They found Vanessa Guillen's belongings, yes, in the actual room where she worked, right? But she was nowhere to be found. But with Lori Ann, she goes missing and her ID and her purse is left behind, right? So somebody filed a missing persons report on her. She leaves her purse behind, her ID behind, and she takes the drive. She never returns back home, right? And her car is found abandoned, and as if it was in a accident. Now there's a video I did on a young male that he got in a crash with his best friend that later led to him being killed by his best friend's father, because his best friend's father felt that he was responsible for killing the best friend in the crash, right? And so once a vehicle is in an accident or abandoned after an accident or something like that, it has to stand questionable, right? Could this have been a setup or something? Because somebody close to her, boyfriend, husband, relationship wise, has set this situation up to make it appear as if she just left on her own accord, because I find that quite strange, very odd that she would leave her ID and purse behind, take a drive, never return, knowing she's a diabetic, right, on medication, right, never returning, right. Was Lori's disappearance staged? That's the question. So if Lori's car hit another vehicle, wouldn't the other driver who was hit, wouldn't they have reported that they were hit? As in, remember, you're in a vehicle, you get hit by Lori. That's to say you're more likely going to report that. Remember, you're a witness of your own vehicle being hit. That's almost like a hit and run, right? If Lori was in her vehicle and say she hits another vehicle, whoever was in that vehicle is more likely going to report that. And on the end of Lori, that will be a hit and run, because that's to say that she would have hit the individual in the vehicle and got out her vehicle and went on about her business. But she didn't drive away in the car. Something about that is strange. Because, see, to not know, I'm just thinking about that on the spot. To not know how bad the situation was of the vehicle, right? When I think about it, for a person to abandon a vehicle like that, is to say even Lori could have been killed in that or something. To say that her vehicle was abandoned, and more likely, yeah, because see, usually a driver will crash, it's gonna be reported, right? Somebody's gonna, that's where it would all add up, pertaining to the connection of her being a missing person and then there being an accident report, as in whoever was in the vehicle that say she hit or they hit her, right? That's to say those two things would align, as in somebody have seen her because they reported the accident. That's where it doesn't make sense. So something with that, maybe she got in a crash or something and got killed, banged her head or something, right? Or didn't come out too well pertaining to that, and say the person took her body or moved her body or something. Because this doesn't add up, because remember, she was born in the 1960s, 1961, she went missing 2006, and yet once again, that's a little bit too old to get, because usually, yeah, like the guy said, his vehicle was abandoned. He was from Hawaii, right? His vehicle was abandoned, and I thought maybe he just abandoned the vehicle, but it turned out that later on he was in fact murdered. His vehicle was just sat there, right? So that is in fact, it was staged, right? This could have been one of those situations, because I just can't see somebody say, get in a crash with this woman, then it goes unreported, right? Or maybe it does, but it just doesn't seem, something seems off, right? Because that's to say, if she did do a hit and run, that's to say she more likely crashed into a person, or however they crashed into each other, right? And then she drives off, speeds off or something, and then go miles out, and then abandons the vehicle, and then walks away from the scene to never be seen again, right? But even something about this doesn't seem right. Either it was a murder on the end that she died in the crash, or it was a murder as in somebody set this up to make it seem like she didn't want to return back home. Why wouldn't Lori want to return back home? Because it's one of the two. Either she doesn't want to be found, or it's worse, she's dead somewhere, right? Remember, she took medication for diabetes. Would she have been able to survive this long without medication for her diabetes? To go missing in 2006 and it's 2020. Yeah, I just can't see a person hiding out somewhere and then needing some medicine, because even that's been known that some people need injections and some. Yes, injections, right? Insulin shots and all the rest. Remember, time changes from 2006 up until 2020 today, right? things have changed, even in the way forms of even medication, as in how it's distributed and taken, right? So would she have been able to survive that long? Because even to eat the wrong food while hiding out somewhere could lead to you going into diabetic shock or something. I don't think she's alive. Uh, so 45 years old. Yes, 45 years old, right? There has to be more to her story untold. Either something made her leave or she was put out or something. Something with this doesn't add up. Because I could just see a person say, well, we crashed and I seen her, she drove away. I don't think anybody, unless the person didn't get the plate, vehicle number, and all the rest right on her vehicle enough to report it or something like that. But there's something odd or strange or something, right? As in there's something missing with it. So we're on investigationdiscovery.com. The ID logo stands in the far left corner. Live now. Evil lives here. New episodes. To receive an audio visual preview is right here. Sign in. That is padlocked down. Only way you will gain access is by clicking that and providing who you're subscribed to. Is the only way you're going to have access to that. Yeah, because people have staged people's murders and all the rest, make it seem like, well, such and such just left home. And then it doesn't add up, right? Could have had an argument or something crazy with somebody or something stupid, and then next thing you know, they killed you or something, and then put your purse and your ID and all that belongings back home, and then carried your body wherever, you don't never know, in the same vehicle or something like that, and then walked back or however got back, right? Or hitched a ride or something. You don't never know. So somebody could have killed this woman and then drove her vehicle and placed it where it was, plotted and placed it, and then hitched a ride somewhere to get back home or something. I'm unafraid of saying. So unlocks episodes. To receive an audio visual preview is to click the play button right here, and you would in fact receive an audio visual preview. Recommended for you. Shouts out to Lieutenant Joe Kenda as well as Paula. Another thing about missing persons cases, with her being that age, right? The thing that I found strange and somewhat slightly spooky is how back in the day, missing persons actual photos look like mugshots. As in, they need to, with all that, should be more updated. And because I was like, well, is this her mugshot? Remember, I'm young. I was young when she went missing, right? But standing looking at her photo today, I was like, is that her mugshot? It looks like a mugshot. Most of the missing persons photos, you can't really tell, and try, see what I'm saying? See the background? You can't really tell. That will make a person question, well, did she have a history of crime? Did she have, that type of stuff will make you question, well, maybe that's why she's missing. That's why stuff like that, missing persons, it should have its own look and feel, and being different than, say, looking like mugshots. Because to look at her photos and say, yeah, does she have a history with crime? Is that why she went missing or what? All that shit, missing persons, photos, and mugshots should have their own look, style, and appeal, and not look the same. Because once you go up in age, trying to pinpoint if somebody went missing, is to say, well, maybe they had some crime in their background. Maybe that's why they don't want to be found. That's the first thing I thought about her. Not trying to really speculate, but I was thinking to myself, well, maybe she had a background of crime or something. Crime history. Maybe she was driving drunk or something and crashed the car or something. Don't want to be found out because maybe she done been to jail numerous times or something like that. That's what was in my mind at first, just by looking at that photo, thinking it was a mugshot once again, right? So but that's probably more than likely not the case. Who knows, right? But yeah, that sort of thing. Missing person's photos should have their own look, and mugshots should have their own look. Cause I don't ever want to be trying to see, well, what happened to that missing person, and it looks like, well, dang, they look like they've been to jail a few times, right? Yeah. ID Go original series. To receive a newsletter from Investigation Discovery is to type your email address in and click next, and you would in fact receive a newsletter from Investigation Discovery. So, dear viewers, may you enjoy your day, and I will in fact enjoy mine. And I'm gone for now. Have a nice one.